Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Choi, and today I would like to give a presentation about a comprehensive guide to statistical concepts, tools, and interpretation. So to introduce myself, my name is Kevin Choi. I'm a 12th grader at St. John's School in Guam, and I was a regional ISEF finalist in 2024 representing Guam. My project was about the auditory effect of Fibonacci and Lucas sequences on short-term memory. And upon my participation at regional ISEF, I'm also a math enthusiast. As I participated some summer math programs, including the Ross Math program in 2023 as a scholar and 2024 as a junior scholar. So first of all, understanding some of the basics of statistics. So statistics is the process of examining, cleaning, transforming, and modeling data to discover useful information. And here today, visualization is, for instance, one of the graphical representations of the data to communicate findings effectively. And later in my presentation today, I would like to introduce some of the key statistical concepts, tools for visualization, and methods for interpreting and communicating data. So I would like to explain the three most important ones that everyone uses. So the first one is the mean, which is the average. And then this is represented as sum of all data points divided by the number of the points. And next off, I would like to talk about is standard deviation, which is a measure of the amount of variation or dispersion in a set of values. And here we have the equation of standard deviation right here. And also the mu, we call this mu in math and statistics, and the mu here is represented as the mean. And lastly, the p-value is something that helps determine the statistical significance of the results. So how can we apply these things? So for instance, mean, we can calculate mean test scores. For example, also the mean GPA of that's when mean will be more used. However, the standard deviation is more like a step-by-step calculation to illustrate the concept. And lastly, p-values will be mostly used for hypothesis testing. And this is something I'll also like to explain right now. There's two different types of hypotheses that many people who are interested in statistics or in every field of STEM uses. So the first one is called the null hypothesis, and then the second one is the alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis typically means that there's going to be no effect of what the experiment is going to be on the test subjects, while the alternative hypothesis is that is usually not the true. And we usually can measure this by the p-value. So for instance, if the p-value is less than 0.05, in that case that we are able to see a meaningful change in the data, so we tend to accept the alternative hypothesis. While if we say that the p-value is greater than 0.05, then we say that we failed to reject the null hypothesis. So next I will talk about the data visualization tools. And one of the most common ones is Excel, which is having professional graphs. But the one I use one of the most is the LaTeX Creator. And this is for utilizing and making professional math equations. And this is really heavily used for many math enthusiasts like me, but not only for the people interested in math, but people also interested in physics, computer science, or chemistry. They all use this because in some part of their experiment, math equations are very necessary. Next is what I talk about is Python and Matplotlib. So these are some examples of libraries for creating a wide range of visualizations. And I have some great experience with Python librosa because Python librosa created chromograms for the musical programs that I created via Fibonacci and Lucas sequences. And the biggest part of my experiment was to analyze the different musical components from those different math sequences. And some step-by-step guide to the basic visualization. And I'd like to go over scatterplot first. Scatterplot is usually identifying relationships between variables. And one good example of this is the relationship between marketing spend and sales. The next is pie charts. Pie chart is the proportional representation, which could be used for market share distribution among competitors. For example, for the semiconductors, distribution of NVIDIA or TSMC, Samsung, or many other those companies. So those are really good examples of visualizations. So There's many different ways to interpret data visualization, and the biggest thing that people do is to spot recurring patterns or anomalies. And also, as I mentioned earlier about the p-value, we need to make sure that it supports the statistical significance. And rather than a bunch of words, around like 500, 600 words, putting one graph that explains what all those words means is a much more effective and stronger research. Next, spotting outliers. This is the equation I have here. It's usually 1.5 times IQR plus the third quartile, or quartile 1 minus 1.5 times IQR. If they're like outside of that range, then the points are considered to be outliers. And these anomalies are really important when you do research because they help you to do error analysis, which helps make the project much more complex. And lastly, I'll talk about some strategies for maintaining data quality. And the two concepts I'll talk about is the data cleaning and data validation. So data cleaning is important as it ensures the accuracy and reliability of data. The most common way to do it is to remove duplicates, correct errors, and also like handle missing values. And also for the data validation, it's important for you to check data against the source document or to peer review, because some people might think that your data could be like untrustworthy, others think that it's not. And next, I'll like talk about is the automated validation tools, which includes to use like software to add inconsistencies or errors, since there has been many programs like mathematical models that determine some of the data that you have might have some inconsistencies or not. And my name is Kevin Choi, and thank you so much for listening to this video.